Is Mike there yet?
He may not make it. We haven't heard from
Is he
Mike.
okay?
I heard from him, but
Is he okay?
he's okay.
Oh.
His lady friend has a procedure going.
Okay. Where's Fred?
Oh, he's not gonna make it.
He might make it, he said.
Fred? No, he's
No, not Fred.
No.
Mike Vitale.
Oh, okay.
Right there.
Was he driving? Are you riding?
That's where he's living.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he moving though?
Is he moving? I don't know. I'm
In a
looking at
car.
the window.
Yeah, I think they're
Is
moving.
he driving?
Oh, they are moving. You're not driving, are you?
I'm not driving, no. I'm in the back seat.
I was gonna say, his
Oh.
eyes are down.
Oh,
I
my
was gonna
God.
say.
Oh, my God.
I got this heavy guy in front of me, so I haven't got much room.
Wish I brought the, I wish I
We're
brought
live
the
on YouTube.
dueling banjos music.
I know, right? Right?
Da, 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 da,
I
da.
know, snake bait, alligator. It's crazy. A minute.
Where's the long drive? Where did you drive? Florida.
No, he's driving to Fargo, Georgia, which is 16 and a half hours.
Then they're gonna canoe down to Florida.
Yeah, 250 miles, 36 hours.
Which,
You'd have to have so many bathrooms. Every hour. Stop the canoe. I gotta go to the
One minute I
bathroom.
saw a snake or alligator, I'd be like, that's a. It's a really creepy river too. It's a Swanee River if you look at it. Tony said it's like the Endurance movie. What is it called?
Deliverance.
Oh, Deliverance.
yeah, I got 4 o'clock. Do I get going?
Everybody, call the meeting to order, please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Jeremy and me.
Jeremy,
Oh, and Eddie.
Tony.
Yep.
All yes?
Oh, yes. Next item is approval of minutes, approval of the town board minutes for the town meeting on September 8th, 2022. Jeremy, Eddie, all those in favor? Aye. Public participation. Mike?
Good afternoon, everybody. So I live on Adams Ave, 27 Adams Ave. Mike Moore is my name. I've been there since 1990.
Hey, Mike, could you move up to the table so I can hear?
Yes.
Yeah, you can come right up here,
Sit over here.
just so Mike can hear,
Sure.
so Ed can hear.
Ed, can you?
Mhm.
How you doing, Ed?
I'm doing good. Thank you for doing that.
Yep, absolutely. So I got 2 items I want to bring up. And I want to read it just because I'll goof it up if I just do it off the top of my head. So the first item is, and I want to start out by saying, it seems to me that the town park really has turned out to be everything that the town was hoping it would be when it was, being planned and everything else. Playground, water park, pickleball, bocce, very nice pavilion. I can go on and on. And with all the improvements also came an increase in the vehicles on that site, on the playground. A while back, a couple years ago, I came here before the council with concerns over the increased vehicle traffic using that stone road that goes from Letchworth down into the park. And at that time, the council understood the concerns and approved a barrier to be installed at the top of the road to stop the vehicles from using the road. And the fire department was okay with a lock barrier being installed, and they would have a key if it was needed. I think that's how it was left. So, I was glad that they kind of understood and wanted to do that. So the installation of the barrier was started, but it was never completed. So there is no barrier to speak of there. So all there is right now is a very old sign that sits at the top of the hill that says no vehicles allowed as per the town council, but the sign doesn't work. So in the last 2 years, my concerns that I had way back when over vehicles using the stone road have actually grown even more. And what is nice is more and more people have enjoyed using the new paths that were installed. And they even use that stone road a lot of times as part of the path system, which is pretty cool. Whether they're walking, riding their bikes, or doing any other kind of passive activities. But more and more, the use of that road by vehicles is becoming a liability. I've witnessed, when people walking or biking, they actually have to get out of the way when a vehicle comes down the stone road. And at this point, I think with all the different ways to access the fire department, the playground, the pavilion from Bristol Ave or from Owasco Road, that the stone road maybe even be changed into the path system and used only for pedestrians, rather than even putting a barrier, just make it thinner and move it around, or put a barrier, but maybe it could be part of the path system that people are using. And it's kind of like, I've been there for a while, so I kind of see how things have evolved. And it seems like there's like 2 overall uses for this park. And the bottom area seems to be very active, with vehicles and people playing and gathering and so on. And then the upper part, it seems to be more like a passive use, people pushing a stroller, people walking their dog, and the town has planted trees up there that, potentially down the road, we can get an arboretum out of that place. Again, a pedestrian use, more of a passive use. So to me, I guess just to sum it up is, if we can get a barrier put up, that'd be wonderful, like was okayed a couple of years ago. Or if some more thought could be given that maybe that road just becomes part of the pedestrian use and is eliminated as a vehicle use. Those are, 2 things to consider. So I don't know how you want to do this. And then my other concern, and I know this has come up before, I'm going to bring it up again because I wasn't able to be here in person the time it was brought up, is the lighting of the town park. And I totally understand. And I even, was at a meeting that Bob Bruner was at. So I learned even more about the vandalism and everything else that goes on, especially down by the pavilion and down by the playground. So I totally understand security and safety issues are huge issues, but there are ways to use lighting that accomplish the lighting concerns, the safety concerns, et cetera, but still be neighborhood friendly. And, I did a little looking into it just because I don't want to come here and just be like, oh, not in my backyard and start moaning and groaning about everything. The town of Owasco has very similar zoning codes as the town of Skaneateles when it comes to lighting. And I actually called over there because I was curious on how they treat their lighting. I think it was a guy from Saxon Electric got me going on this, because they put in the True Value hardware over there, and they made sure that all the lighting in that parking lot was neighborhood friendly. So, and I know, although the town of Skaneateles, she told me they don't have to follow the zoning codes, they choose to follow the zoning codes because they want to be neighborhood friendly. So I thought that was pretty admirable of them, and how they do it, they basically use a type of lighting that has cutoff lighting. And the idea is this type of lighting will light the area or the surface you want to light, but you don't really see the source or the bulb itself. So very little light has to even leave the site. I mean, that's what our code reads, that lights should be shielded so as not to produce a strong dazzling light upon abutting properties. That's what we have in our code. So it's along those same lines. Again, I understand and agree totally with the need to have a good lighting system in the town park for safety and security reasons. My hope is the lighting can be more friendly to the neighboring properties. So
It's reasonable.
I don't know if there's any questions I need to add. I don't know what you guys do from here as far as.
We'll have to look into it, talk about it. For sure.
I think what we'll do is I'll talk to Jeremy as the chief of police to see what his needs are at the firehouse.
Not please.
Huh?
Borough's chief of police.
I know. So we'll talk to Jeremy. We'll discuss it further and we'll get back to you. How's that?
Now, the part about that was already okayed by the fire department. They said that's fine. If you, I don't know if you
The
remember
barrier.
the barrier, it was even, I think was in the April 2020 minutes.
So regards, just so everyone, we're on the same page, everything beyond the edge of the parking lot, well, actually beyond the edge of the chicken pits is town property, not fire district. So we don't have, the fire department doesn't have say directly over what happens up in that back area. So it's totally up to the town to make that decision as far as what the road is used for, if they decide to block it off or anything. So that'd be our decision here. Really don't have to.
You don't have any problem with it, with a barrier there then, as far as access.
It's not my,
Egress or,
it's not up to us to determine that. It's not,
as far as the fire department is concerned, you don't
no, it's not
see
our
it
road.
as a problem.
No, it's not. The town properties, they can do as they wish with it. Good.
Oh, well, at the time, maybe they were the town just worked. you know,
Yeah. I mean,
To go
it's
down there and say,
understandable.
hey, you
Yes.
guys, we
Yeah.
don't wanna.
I mean, I'll go back to being a town councilman here. I think that we do need to determine site plan as far as what the intent of the roadway is. I mean, that roadway's been there for 40 or at least 40 years. I mean, I got pictures from the 80s from chicken barbecues of the roadway
Sure.
there. So
Sure.
there's always been a roadway there. So what is the long-term goal? Because, or do you, like you said, make it a pathway? Do you pave it with a barrier? Is there like, we got to really come up with a
Okay.
traffic management for that area, because it's gone from all grass to a parking lot to people coming down a roadway to other problems that come along with that. You know, I mean, there's no proper signage, there's no speed limit signage, there's none of that back there. I do know that, you know, there is traffic issues there, even coming through the firehouse parking lot, people speed. I mean, you've seen the cones and the speed bumps added and
Absolutely.
everything. It's,
Yeah.
they're not there just because we felt like it.
No,
They're
I
added
see
for a
that. I
reason.
see the
So
additional sign that basically drive slowly or something.
yeah,
something
yeah,
there
they're trying
that's-
to increase signage and everything. So the town does need to come up with what's the purpose of the road? What are we doing with this road?
Well,
Is it-
you know, along those lines, because I'm part of the tree board committee
Mhm.
with Walt and all that stuff, and we actually talked about, and there's other concerns in the park that I know, water, things like that. They
Yeah.
have concern at the bottom near the firehouse.
Yeah, floods.
They talked
Terrible.
about maybe at one time trying to figure out up top, where's the water come from? What can we do with it? et
Yeah, there
cetera, et
used to be
cetera.
ditches through the field. The town at some point in time filled in the ditches, and now there's no way to capture any water that comes downhill, and it just absolutely crushes this area over here.
Right, right. And I learned more about that the other night too.
Yeah.
What we did mention, it's mentioned in, what do we call that whole thing that we did with Walt as part of the tree board? Not the tree ordinance, but remember the name of that? Pardon me?
Part of the comprehensive plan.
The comprehensive plan. It mentions in there the possibility of doing a master plan or finishing a master plan almost for the town park, the whole thing. And it was maybe we get somebody like an engineer involved to look at the water concerns. And then maybe it's landscape architects who say this would be friendly for pedestrians. And the arboretum maybe is a good idea. I don't know how we get from A to B on that, because it's kind of a different issue. But it's along your lines of saying, what do we do with the road?
Yeah,
Well, it's an overall.
master
Plan,
it's
yeah,
master plan
yeah.
of the rest of the park? Is it finished? Are we still working on it? If we're working on it, what's our goal here?
Yeah, what
Yeah.
is?
I totally agree, because then I think it's for everybody's reasons that something doesn't get done. That's like, why do we do that? Or whose
Also for
idea
the
was
board to
that?
plan, because we need to know what we're still hoping to accomplish there, so.
Where does something like that fall, Ed, as far as how do we, I mean, I'll be glad if I can help in any way. I just don't know how I can. I mean, that's
We'll
right
have
up my alley, that fun stuff, but not the
will.
engineering of water.
We'll have to get a committee together to figure out what we're going to do. And I think the fire department, Jeremy, would be crucial, because the reason why I wanted to talk with the fire department, not because they don't own it, but they have an issue, they have a concern with last year by putting up the speed bumps, they want to kick people out of using their parking lot, and that's, so how do we access that parking area in the back if, if they close off the parking lot to us to use it for the pavilion, for the pickleball court. So there's a lot to be discussed on this thing. So I think the first step would be to form a committee you're welcome to serve on it, and to study it and to come up with a plan. And the plan may be to cut it in half and make it a path, who knows? So
Okay.
let's, because I'm in the car, I don't have anything to write on. So Tammy, if you can just remind me to do that when I get back on Tuesday, and we'll get something set up, and we'll
Okay.
work on that right away.
As far as what I brought up about the lighting issue, and again, I'm not trying to sit here and complain as much as kind of what I think is maybe the right thing to do. And it wouldn't just be for this park. I mean, it's in our codes for a reason, right? That we want to be neighborhood friendly. And last thing you want is your neighbor putting up a floodlight and I'm not saying that that's what's happening. What I'm saying is, I don't know. It'd be nice if we can be neighborhood friendly and still accomplish what you're trying to accomplish with the lighting.
Well, I think like what Tom Thumbs did, we're aware of, we made Tom Thumbs put the, Rick, what's the name of the lighting you put in up at the miniature
Dark.
golf course, that just lights up the golf course. It doesn't affect the neighbors. So, so we had to price, we had to price that out, and we'll have to,
That'll be the answer.
again, part of the design is where we're going to put them. We're in the process of putting like $60,000 or more into cameras up there. So we want to make sure if we get them up there, we want to make sure it's lit properly and done right. And so if we can accomplish, your needs and our needs, at the same time, and make it look aesthetically good, I think it would look better than a spotlight, to have decorative lighting up there that lit the area, not the whole parking lot. So we can investigate all that, come up with a budget. And we're doing the budget right now, so we can get a number to put in the budget for next year.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Okay, nice.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Yep.
Thank you.
The next item on is our old business. Do you have any old business to discuss? Eddie, any old business?
Well, two things, cameras, Ed, you saw some of the communications. We got basically, I would say the final number from the second vendor, which came in around 32,000. And then I haven't heard back yet from the third vendor, that I think would be possibly the cheapest. So, but that's where that stands as far as the progress that's been made. The second vendor got all the information they needed. We went back and forth
Yeah,
and
we got that about a month ago, didn't we?
yeah, they had missed some items on it.
Yeah.
So it got updated, Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
I'll tell you. Yeah, Monday.
We already approved the project, so once the low bid comes in, we probably should just go forward with the project. And to Jeremy,
Breaking up there, Ed.
cameras
Break it
are
up.
the best. Okay.
We should.
We don't need to
Check
do
my,
anything resolution wise until we get a,
No, I'm just bringing this up as
Update.
it's,
Yep.
in process of still being
yeah, okay.
almost there.
Any new business?
I got, and then we talked about the water billing company last month. That the company we were utilizing, like, pulled out
Oh,
of the
the-
contract.
Yeah.
For the, yeah,
Distribution
for
of
distribution
water
water billing,
bills.
yes. Anyone get any update? Like,
I don't
Yeah,
know.
we, ABS, representative from ABS Solutions came in yesterday, gave gave a proposal. They're doing the same, water billing for Bath, because they had the same situation happen with them. The cost is gonna be similar to what it was before, and, working out the final details right now, but we should be ready to go, for the December water bills going out in time.
Did that take care of your concern, Tammy? We talked about the water bills.
No, but it's not gonna change, so it's a done deal. Darcel wrapped it up with them, so. I just would have liked to have been included in it. There's things I do, a majority, I do all the collecting, which is a huge part of it. And wasn't involved at all. I would have liked to. There's concerns and questions I
Mhm.
had. But it's a done deal, so.
do you have any information from the ABS solution proposal you can send over? I haven't heard anything. This is the first time hearing about this, so.
No.
I have nothing. I've just had signature page, but that's all I have. I don't have any proposals. I don't.
I'll get it out. I'll have Darcel send it out to everybody.
Thank you.
Anything else? No
No,
business, any new business or that we're?
No.
Communications? That's something
What
about a
was the
sewer.
first issue?
Off.
Sure.
Yeah, we have a resident that bought the old Brinkerhoff estate. They want to connect to the sewer system. And Rick and I had a meeting with our town engineer. We sent a letter to the applicant to do a sewer application. It may or may not be an extension or just an outside user. So it's up to them to come up with a map plan and report. And I got a phone call from one of their engineers yesterday. I told them what they had to do. They're going to contact our engineer. I'm going to get pricing from Bob Bruno on the cost of the unit and supply them with the cost figures. And it's up to them to pay for all expenses to hook up to the sewer, with the possibility of them connecting to one of their neighbors. There's 2 possible neighbors that want to hook up to the sewer system. So it'll be up to them to pay for all of the cost associated with that extension or outside as an outside user.
Okay. Proposed new auditors, Drescher and Malecki.
Yep, I sent out the quote. This is when we went out to RFP last time. This was the group that came in second. We contacted all of the people we did last time. We contacted 4 different people. These people came in with the bid. Quite frankly, we probably can't get anybody else to even do it. I do have a letter from when they were audited. That's the reason why Cuddy and Ward got out of it, because they had a bad audit on the auditor. And so these guys have a favorable opinion from the auditor that audited them. And they also are, they also have Niles and Troop as customers and favorable reviews from them as well. So with your permission, I would like to hire them as the next auditor for the town of Owasco.
You do a resolution?
It's on the docket. So what's the next top? Any questions?
Or
We
the
can-
solar
we can-
market? Any questions?
Yeah,
on-
we sent the application, we sent the thing out to everybody to review. Does anybody have any comments on the solar panel?
Anybody have any-
no, I read through it. It doesn't look like we reinvented the wheel there. It's
No.
pretty straightforward.
All right, so what I'll do is I'll work with Tom, our special counsel. And I'll have them, tweak it a little bit more, and then we'll bring it to the board for before the January meeting, which was a public meeting, to adopt the new local law.
And there
Okay,
isn't a resolution on here for that one. Do you want that added? We don't have one on here.
For which one?
The auditors,
For the auditor?
No, yeah, there isn't one.
Oh, I thought I put it on there. Yeah, we'll add it at the end then.
all right,
Get it at the end, so.
Yeah.
Change the numbers.
yeah.
Okay, then the only thing else on communication, I was gonna go over Fred's email that we got today, but he just walked in, so Fred can bring up some topics on communication for issues that you have, Fred.
So I don't think issues is right, but the two things that I wanted to mention were the Owasco Fire Department had some things that they wanted to get nailed down with regard to the transfer of the land up in the hamlet. And the biggest portion of that, and this, we're gonna need Rick's help on this, is that they wanted some assurance that the property would revert back to them if we hadn't taken action on the building the playground or updating the playground within 3 years. So we just need to do whatever we need to do to get that taken care of, and then we can get the thing surveyed and get it parceled off.
Yeah, public board is just looking for an assurance that it will be
used for what
used
they
as a
say.
playground, and they will take action to make it a playground.
Yeah. Yeah, and
That was,
if
That's reasonable.
yeah,
that was discussed last month, so Rick, is that something you're gonna take care of?
Yeah. It would be part of the deed transfer from the fire department to the town, with that covenant.
Yeah, I'll bring that back to the public board, but yeah,
yeah, perfect.
cool with that.
And the only other
Are
thing,
we getting, I'm sorry,
Oh,
are
go
we
ahead.
getting a whole parcel or is it just a portion of a parcel?
it's a portion.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So
have to get
so-
it, we have to get it surveyed.
So, yeah, so it's gonna have to be surveyed with, meets and bounds from Mike O'Neill, who I think did both, or did one, maybe about to do the other. And
Yeah.
then we would, then get the minor subdivision approval for both.
Yeah.
For both plats, lots.
Excuse me. And the only other thing, Ed and I talked earlier today, and the planning board and the zoning board, some years ago, whether it be 1, 2, 3 years ago, had endeavored to review the town code and make recommendations for changes to the code. And I think that probably stalled as a result of COVID and people not being able to get together and all that stuff. What I'd like to do is I'd like to get an update on that, and whatever they've come up with as far as recommendations for changes, I'd like to get an update and see about moving that process forward. I've had cause to recently look at it, and it's it hasn't been, the code was actually adopted in 1989 as it sits right now. And there's been periodic minor changes, but there hasn't been a major revision to the code or a major analysis of the code since 1989. And the world's changed quite a lot since then. So,
Just yesterday.
right, exactly. So I'd like to see what they've come up with and just be able to move that process forward.
Hey, Tammy, can you do me a favor and email Patrick to see, and ask him to send an email to the board asking, for what the status is on the latest updates. I know they had several meetings, and Rick, you might have been part of those discussions. I know they had zoning meetings and planning board. Andy Leah was involved with those as well. So we'll get Patrick to send the board an update on that as well.
Perfect, thank you.
Moving right along.
That's all I had.
Resolution 22-108, authorize the town supervisor to sign amendment number 1 to the municipal corporation agreement for sewer service to wholesale customers, the city of Auburn, the towns of Senate, Fleming, and Aurelius, which, among other things, adopts an updated wholesale sewer unit rate in the amount of $3.04 per 100 cubic feet as of January 1st, 2023. I have a motion.
Move.
Chair Bean,
Yes. Second, yeah.
any discussion?
So does this resolution tie into the next one or are these?
I guess it does, because the resolution,
Well,
Wait.
this is the same contract that all of the towns. Let me give you a background on this thing. 7 years ago, the city tried to screw us, City of Auburn tried to screw us with city rate. They want us to pay $4 and something cents for a cubic foot, which is like 7.5 gallons. And we all protested, said, no way, we're going to pay it, and take us to court. Well, we hired an engineer analyzed all their costs, and then after it all, and at the time we actually agreed to settle at $3 a gallon, cubic foot, and then when we had the study done, and the city wouldn't do it, they thought we were ripping them off. When we had the study done, it actually came back, and based on their costs, based on all of the overhead, the rate was only going to be $2.86. So, it was lower than what we were willing to settle for. So we agreed to have this universal code, and all we had to do every 3 years, so there was no battles anymore, was we hired a engineering firm, the city does, and they put it as part of their cost, and they analyzed all the city's cost. And the city's cost increases based on labor, based on the removal of sludge and all that stuff. The engineer came up with their cost, and their cost based on actual numbers is the number that you see in front of you at the 304 number. So they're really it's a 3-year contract. So the rate won't go up for 3 years. And quite honestly, it's
So this is separate than the next
Yeah,
resolution, yeah. If it,
It affects the second one, but.
but yeah, we have to do this either way, so
Right.
this one
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, this one, it's we have no option. It's based on actual costs. So I'm comfortable with this number based on the engineering report that was provided.
call a question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
The next one is details exactly what the costs are going to be. Resolution 22-109 to approve the following water and sewer rate increases effective December 1, 2022. This was January. The former one was January 1, 2023.
So this would take into account the cost difference between what we're actually billing and what is being treated by the city.
Right.
So
Well,
somewhere.
yes. So we have 3 main issues here on our sewer rates and water. Well, the water rate is increasing just because of the chlorine costs have tripled in the last 6 months. And our labor costs have gone up, and fuel costs have gone up. So the water rate is only increased minimally. I think it's gone up, I can't remember, 7 cents, 8 cents per 1,000 gallons. So the water's minimal. Where we're getting whacked is twofold from the city. Because we have a lot of infiltration, primarily only in the avenues. That's why Sewer District 1 is really going to take a hit. And all of the avenues have there's footer drains tied into a combined sewer system. So the new developments like the Bench Track, Dickman Track, Martin Point, they all have sewer separated out from their sanitary sewer. They have stormwater sanitary sewer systems. So what happens is when we have a combined system, every time it rains, we're probably putting in 5 times the amount of water that we produce. And we're sending clean water to the city of Auburn, and we got to pay for it to get treated in the city of Auburn. At the same time, last June, the city put in new meters. They put new meters in because it's recorded flow, and they thought we were sending them more flow than we were actually getting billed for. As it turned out, that was the case. So now, in the past, we were being treated for, let's say, 1 million gallons a day. Now we're probably doing 1.1 or 1.2 million gallons a day. So we're putting more flow into the city, accurate flow into the city. And because the cost of the treatment, treating the sewer is costing more, we're paying more to treat it. So that's why it's even more important to do the avenues and do the sewer separation. Why, when we're applying for these grants, that we get these grants to lower the amount of infiltration going into the city, so we pay less. We were paying about $3 million a year to treat clean water. Now we're going to be paying over $1 million a year to treat rainwater at the sewage treatment plant in Auburn. So that's why this sewer separation project can't come soon enough.
Right.
So the rates, in order for us to make budget and to meet the cost associated with it, and there's no fluff into this, we haven't raised rates in 3 years for sewer, and we haven't raised water rates in probably 5 years. You know, this is the first time that we've raised rates in a long time. So it's based on need, nothing else. It's going to be a shock for most of our minimum users. They're going to go from about $75 a quarter for 3 months to about $116 for 3 months. That's the reality. So my proposal would be is, the rates are based on cost, and we have to approve this, and we need to send a letter out to the residents, letting them know why it's going up and what they can do to reduce the costs so that we don't have to pay as much. Also, we have to notify our commercial people, the town of Niles and the town of Fleming, because we got to give them enough notice, a 30-day notice, that we're raising the rates so that we fulfill our contractual obligations so that we can do it. The rates have to go up in December because that's when our next quarterly reading is taking place in December, so that people know that before they start using their water in December, they know that the new rate is going up December 1st, and they will not get billed for that new rate until March. Because it'll be December, January, February, and then they'll get read at the end of February. So the next quarter bills will go out March 1st.
So our contracts with the towns have a provision in them that says if our cost goes up with a 30-day notice, we can raise the cost with
Correct.
them.
Correct.
Not much we can do about it.
Yeah, I would like to know as much as possible
Oh, yeah.
in regards to this, and we're at the end of the year, so right now, this rate increase, is this reflecting future costs that we're expecting, or is this trying to catch up with the difference that
Probably
we've
both.
already lost? I'm just
Is it
trying to.
It's actual cost, so I think it's future. It's
Future expected costs,
Expected,
or like,
yeah.
how are we handling the rainwater that's been treated already? Where's that money coming from to pay for that?
Well, we were undercharged, but I don't, if I understand it right, we were undercharged because the meters, but we
Meters
were
weren't
charged for
accurate.
what the meters
Yeah.
said. And it's just, so there isn't like a bill that we're,
There's no retro
obligated to
bill
pay, yeah.
because the meters are wrong.
Yeah, I'm trying to, I understand what we have to pay to the city is what we have to pay to the city. It's from that point in time when the new meters came in to right now, we have a cost difference
Right.
between what's been actually billed to the residents and what has actually been sent down the drain essentially. And then we're saying we need to increase this rate
Will it
going
cover?
forward.
will-
Yeah,
will it-
where we,
I think you lost that.
oh, great.
And then he froze, it froze and then that happened.
Maybe stop for gas.
I guess they're giving away the water at the water plant, Melrose Road.
Oh, that's
Well,
another,
he could always call my cell phone too.
that's
Yeah.
another, that's another.
I was
separate-
nervous about that before Fred came. I'm like, can we just do the votes now?
Oh, well, that
And
was-
then
I know,
before you do the
I know,
discussion,
right? I
'cause
know,
we
I
had a
said
good
the same
signal.
thing. I know, I
Yeah.
knew that
I was
was
thinking,
gonna.
I'd just get it over
I
with,
know.
and do more
We
discussion.
got three now.
Yeah,
Because if my phone, if he's, oh, there he is, he's back.
Back.
Hey, hey, can you hear me?
Gotcha.
All right. So what were you saying, Jeremy?
I just trying to figure out the costs and how we're working this out. So from the time the new meters were installed to now, there's obviously a discrepancy or there's a difference between what,
There's an undercharge.
there's an undercharge somewhere
On a
between
sewer only.
sewer. So is this cost increase,
Will
Are
it
we-
cover that undercharge?
No, we're not getting, we don't get, we're not paying retroactive. We're only going forward with the new, so from July of last year to currently, we are paying like 200 something thousand dollars more this year than we did last year. So this is to cover the new meter reading cost. So anything prior to last year, we don't get paid, we don't pay for.
how, where's the money that we're spending coming from on this? Are we charging the residents of sewer district 1 to cover the cost increase from the time the new meters are put in, or is this a future cost going forward? And we're
This
finding
is
money.
this is the future, this is cover current cost and future cost for 3 years. So what this new rate's gonna be is, right now we have like $1 million fund balance and then each sewer, we have 3 sewer districts. Each sewer district is a special separate district. And each district has to pay for their own
Yeah, what they use.
segment of cost, what they use. Since sewer district 1 has the biggest inflow, they gotta pay more based on their actual flow. We have meters coming in from all the sewer district 3 gets metered before it's into sewer district 2. Sewer district 2 flow gets metered at the interception at sewer district 1. So what we do is we know how much flow from sewer district 2 and 3 comes into sewer district 1. We subtract out the sewer district 3 costs. We know what sewer district 2's costs are. And
I
then we
understand.
know what sewer district 3's costs are. Yep.
I understand that, I guess. So
You're kind of asking like what, the reserves that were used to
Yes.
pay for these additional costs.
are we replenishing
Yeah,
these
that's
with,
your-
this is
that's
what
your
I'm getting
question,
at.
right?
So is this like, we expect every quarter going forward, this increase, so we're increasing based on that expected increase, or are we trying to recuperate costs from today's date going back to when the new meters were installed?
That I don't know.
What we did was we looked at the last 8 months where the sewer costs, where the new sewer flows were put into place. We took an average of that cost for 8 months, and then we got a monthly cost and multiplied it by 12 to get a yearly cost of what we can anticipate for a yearly cost. Based on those anticipated flows and based on the increase in rates from the city of Auburn, this budget is based on, these rates are based on those actual costs, based on projected usage or projected and the actual cost that we are now paying. So the only thing that may vary in this is if we have a very wet summer or wet spring, and we have a lot more rain, our flows are going to be a lot more, and so we're going to be paying more. But we have enough reserves to cover those rainy day funds, so we're basing this on an average. So we anticipate this to be an average year. This is what the cost is going to be based on actual usage, and this is the actual rate. So in order to accomplish that, this is the rate that we have to charge the customers to break even. And to
Well, for
put a
this
little money
year,
away.
for this year, are our build cost went up beyond what we
Oh, yeah.
budgeted for. So where did that money come from
To cover that cost.
to cover that cost, to that
Reserve
that
fund.
cost?
Okay,
Sewer-
that's-
Sure.
Yeah, that's
Sewer
what-
reserve.
That's what I'm trying to find out, because I want
Yep.
to, I want to find out, like, if we are trying to back charge.
No,
to
No, you're not
catch
back
up.
charging, that's not the.
You know what I'm
word.
saying, I'm trying to catch
Yeah.
up, if we could cover that cost reserve
Are
to
we-
try to
are we-
keep
Are
this.
you replenishing the reserves that
Yes,
were
so-
used?
that's a
Are you-
question.
Yeah, we're all
That's
talking. You can't-
a
what do you
different
wanna-
question. but-
Are you
No.
replenishing the reserves that were used for the?
Or are we just covering costs and trying to
That
keep
we're-
total costs down? We've already done that. We've already taken care of that.
Yeah.
then. Okay.
And so what we're gonna do in a letter, we're gonna tell the residents, you know, we're gonna actually have our water guys, you know, go out and inspect some pumps and stuff like that to make sure, you know, give them something to do during the day to go out and inspect to make sure that, you know, we can, you know, we're not putting excessive water into the sewer system. So we can try to eliminate costs that way. So we're
Yeah,
gonna
I
do what we
agree.
can do.
And I think public education is a huge piece. We got a lot of new residents, especially in sewer district one's area that may have moved into a house that already had a sub pump plumbed into the sewer and they don't know any different.
Right.
They don't understand that paying for that at the end of the day. So,
I can tell you right now, when we did the analysis, you know, if it weren't for Martin Point, Bench Track and Dickman Track, the cost for the other residents in sewer district one would be three times higher than what it is right now. Just because those people are not putting infiltration at the same level. Everybody puts infiltration in, but the same level as those houses on the avenues.
yeah, very outdated sewer
So we've
system.
known that for a long
Yeah.
time. We had a vote on the resolution to approve the water rates.
A motion.
Do we have a motion?
We didn't.
Move.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ed, you're in favor?
Yep.
All right, moving along. Resolution to introduce local law number 3, 2022 to override the tax levy limit established in general municipal law and to schedule a public hearing.
Move.
Second.
Discussion. Is this an anticipatory thing, Ed? We're gonna anticipate?
No, because of the actual sewer rates, sewer taxes and stuff going up. It's a factual thing that we have to do. Because even though, like, we did the same thing when we did the water improvement, actually, when we did sewer district number 3, when we raised that money for capital projects, it put us over our 2% cap. And so we had to override the tax cap in order to fulfill a capital project. So that's why we have to do the tax cap override, even though we're not raising taxes in general, or we're not raising taxes on the highway fund, just because the sewer account puts us over the threshold of 2%.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 22-111 to schedule public hearing for 2023 budget at the November 10th, 2022 town board meeting.
Move.
Second.
Any discussion? And we're gonna have our meetings the 24th.
Monday and Tuesday.
24th.
24th and 25th.
Right.
Yes, that's right.
24th.
24th to 25th,
The budget workshops.
Yeah,
4 to 6.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 22-112, audit and payment of claims.
Move.
Second.
Any questions, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to abstain because I didn't get a chance to look at them.
And then. Tammy, you were gonna. add
Yep,
one
so
now.
the
gonna
next
add,
one's gonna be the auditors.
audit,
Authorize you to
Treasurer
sign the
Malecki.
agreement with the auditors.
Just add the date of whatever the letter.
Proposed new auditors, Treasurer Malecki. Would that be as of,
No, whatever date their proposal is.
Okay.
I mean, you want,
Oh, I didn't see it. I don't know.
it's not dated, put a date on it.
there's nothing here.
Okay.
Whatever their letter engagement was, I'm sure it was dated.
Mhm.
So we can vote on just.
Oh, yeah.
the
To
proposal.
authorize this
Proposed
proposal. to
letter.
sign.
Okay, so motion,
Move.
Second,
all in favor?
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Motion to adjourn,
Make a motion.
Okay,
adjourn.
as we pass
Okay.
Rocky Mount, North Carolina, we're good to go.
Safe travels.
All right.
Really, be careful.